Well, hello and welcome again. This is Tuesday, 23rd of February's Maths for today, and I hope that you had fun yesterday looking for 3D shapes around your house. So we're going to carry on looking at 3D shapes. We're going to be thinking about describing them today. So here we go, get a little warm up and also a little bonus. I can really remember what name this shape. What's this shape? What's this 3D shape up here? So first of all, you're going to write the numbers from the smallest to the greatest. So smallest to biggest. Which is more, 2 10s or 1 10 and 10 ones? And then we've got true or false. 8 add 5 is the same as 10 add 3. And then what is the name of the shape that has 3 sides? So pause the video here and have a little go at those. Right, so our bonus question up here, what's this? This is a cone. Well done if you got that. Write the numbers from the smallest to the greatest. So if we look there, it should be 19, 25, and then we've got 32. Brilliant. So which is more, 2 10s or 1 10 and 10 ones? So 2 10s. There's 2 10s. 2 10s is 20, and then you've got 1 10 and 10 ones. So I'm going to go 1, let me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 there. 10 and 10 is 20. So which is more? Neither of them, they are both exactly the same. Over here, 8 add 5 is the same as 10 add 3. So 8 add 5, so we can put 8 in your head and count on 5. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then 10 add 3. 10 and 3 more. 10, 11, 12, 13. It is true. That is the same. And what is the shape that has 3 sides? I'm not drawing it very well, but it is a triangle. Well done if you got all those right. Okay, so we're just going to have a quick recap. Just moving something on my screen. A quick recap of what these shapes are. So we have got a triangular prism. We have got a cylinder, a cone, a square base pyramid, a sphere, a cuboid, and if you remember for some reason it didn't have cube there. Oh, it might have if I spelled cube properly. Cube. Brilliant. Okay, so just very quickly again, triangular prism, cylinder, cone, cuboid, cube, square base pyramid, sphere. Brilliant. Let's have a little look. So now what we're going to do is think about describing the shapes. Okay. So when you describe 3D shapes, we talk about faces, we talk about edges, we can talk about vertices, we talk about surfaces. Okay. So here is a vertex. So it's a very similar when you think about in a 2D shape. So it's where the edges meet. Okay, so a vertex. Again, in sort of old thing, you might be called it a corner, but we call it a vertex. Here is an edge. Okay, we don't talk about sides in 3D shapes, we talk about edges. So down here is an edge. Okay, and then a face. This is the face. That's the flat part of the shape. So this is a face. Okay, we've got a cylinder here. This is the face of it here. The edge is around here. This has got a curved edge, whereas a cube here has got a straight edge. And then we talk about this bit, obviously the round bit that goes around, we talk about that as a surface. Okay, now some people might refer to it as a face, other people refer to it as a surface. Okay, but we're not going to touch too much on that really, because that's sort of a year 2 kind of objective. What we're going to think about really is we're going to be thinking about the shape of the faces. But just to have a little go here, we're just going to have a little think to ourselves. So if I was describing this cube, I would say, how many faces has it got? Now I would think about a die. So we've got a die here when you're playing a game, and it's got numbers on it. How many numbers has it got on it? 6. So that sort of helps us to tell us that a cube has 6 faces. How many vertices does it have? So counting here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's got 4 at the top, and then if we look at the bottom, we go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. It is a bit tricky thinking about faces and vertices, especially when we don't actually have the objects in our hands to hold. So that might be something that we'll come back to once we're back in school. But here we've got the edges. So the edges will go all the way round. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 on the bottom. So we know that 4 and 4 is 8, 8, and then it goes 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So here, thinking about a cylinder, so we've got a faces and we've got a surface. So it's got, now this is where some people might argue that it's got 3 faces, because it's got one at the top, one at the bottom, and then a face all the way around. Some people may say that that's 2 faces. It's got one at the top, one at the bottom, and this is a surface because it's curved. And again, doesn't have any vertices though, doesn't have any corners because it's a curved shape. It's got round bits there, but it does have edges. It's got 2 edges because it's got one that goes all the way around the top and then all the way around the bottom. Okay, so as I say, we don't need to worry too much about those. As I say, that's just something we will come back to in year 2. But it might be something you just want to have a little start beginning to think about. But what we're going to be doing is that we are going to be thinking about the shape of the faces. So if we drew around these shapes, what shape would the faces be? So if I drew around, put my cube down and drew around it, what shape would it make? Would it be a triangle? Would it be a circle? Would it be a rectangle? Or would it be a square? So if I drew around my cube, it would make a square shape. Okay. My square base pyramid. If I had my pyramid up there and drew around the bottom of it, then you can see it would make a square shape. That's why it's called a square base pyramid. But then if I drew around one of the side bits there, can you see that that is a triangle? Okay. So thinking here then, how could I describe these 3D shapes? If I drew around these shapes here, what shape would I have? Okay, so if I think about my cylinder, if I held my cylinder up and drew around it, what shape would it have? It would have a circle. What about my cone? My cone would have a circle as well. Now, if I drew around my sphere, a sphere doesn't really have a face. It might have a curved surface, but you can't really draw around it. What it has to be a face, it has to be flat so that you can put it down flat and then you can draw around it. What about my triangular prism? Now, if I drew around the bottom bit, it was sort of get a rectangle. If I drew around the side bit here, can you see that that is a triangle? My cuboid, now my cuboid is a rectangle. Now the sides could also be a rectangle depending on the size of it, or it could be a square. We know, haven't we, we've just done a cube, so we know that the cube is all the faces on the cube are square, doesn't matter which way we turned it. And then the same with my square base pyramid, we know that the bottom is a square, but we know round the outside that's a triangle. So it's just beginning to get you to start thinking about the faces and the shape of the faces. Okay, again, looking at this cone, that's not a face. I can't really, it may look like a triangle, but it's not a triangle face. So thinking here then, so it says here that Jack has posted some 3D shapes through the first hole. So he's posted a shape, this is his shape sorter below, okay? And he's, so which shape do you think would fit through there? So what shape is it? So it could be, if you think about it, it could be the cube, because we know that the cube has got a square face, so that could go through there. It could be, if you put it through this way, with the square base of the pyramid, you put that in first, then that could go in there. All right. So what you're going to do, okay, so what faces, we've just been through this, so what faces can you see on these shapes? So thinking back again, what are the shape of the faces? So looking at these 3D shapes, so we talked about the triangular prism. What shapes can you see on the triangular prism? Okay, and you're going to do that for each shape. And then as an extension, can you remember how many faces a cube has? So that's the silver activity. The gold is very similar to what we've just done. It says here that Lucas posted some 3D shapes. He posted them through here, this shape here. Which of these shapes, and you can give two possibilities, which of these shapes would fit through that hole? Okay, and then the platinum, the bottom of the 3D shape is hidden. What shape could it be? So what, if we took that away, what could that shape be? Okay, so you might want to pause the video here. You can obviously go back to the silver, and then I'm going to move on to the answers. So that is the answers to the silver activity. And then that is the answer to the gold and the platinum. And I'm hoping you got on okay with that.